Thanks, Mr. Romeva, Foreign Affairs Minister. Good evening. As Vice President and Minister of Economy, I'd like to focus the next minutes on the economic situation of Europe and Catalonia. Europe ventures into 2017 in the context of moderate growth. In spite of the monetary policy measures triggered by the European Central Bank, euro area economies are making slow progress. There are some exceptions, and Catalonia is one of them. According to the latest macroeconomic forecast by the Catalan government, released last November, GDP growth in 2016 stands at 3.4%, the same as in 2015. Looking ahead to 2017, the outlook is for a 2.7% increase, below that of 2016, but is still remarkable. However, these positive developments in the Catalan economy are set against the backdrop of international economic uncertainty. Concerns about a sharp downturn in the Chinese economy, lower prospects for growth in the United States, and doubts about Europe's resilience to overcome new challenges. Brexit, migration policy, you name it, show that some risks remain and that we cannot take economic recovery for granted. Let me make a quick overview of Catalonia's economic performance. First of all, let me talk about our exports, which have been one of the drivers of Catalonia's solid growth in the last years. In particular, high-tech exports are at the forefront of the increase in foreign sales since 2014. Actually, our export per capita figure is the 9th higher in the EU, more than in Sweden, France, or Italy. Regarding our industry, Catalonia has a long-standing industrial tradition dating back to the 18th century, evolving over centuries and bringing about a solid and varied industry with a huge capacity for adaptation to fluctuations in the economy. Thus, despite the strong setbacks during the recent crisis, the Catalan industry is currently growing above the European average. However, competitiveness of our industry is being limited, for instance, by the high cost of electricity in Spain or by shameful delays in the Mediterranean railway corridor. One of our biggest concerns, unemployment, continues to decline quarter after quarter, and the employment rate in Catalonia is on the way to reach levels similar to those of the euro area. As an actor in this complex and changing scenario, Catalonia aims to consolidate an increasingly competitive and innovative economic model based on higher productivity. Regarding university, all the international rankings place the Catalan university and research system among the leading ones in Europe. The main challenge faced by the government in this field is to keep the quality of the system and to strengthen knowledge transfer mechanisms from the academic to the business world, and especially to small and medium-sized enterprises, the backbone of our business network. And last but not least, let me talk about tourism. For us, a strategic sector. While the number of foreign visitors increased by 3.9% already in 2015, it rose dramatically in the first quarter of 2016 to over 8.3%. Catalonia is the main destination for tourism in Spain with over 17 million people. Let me focus now on our specific performance as a government. Regarding the debt, we made a huge effort in the past few years in order to slow down the debt growth rate, which went to pre-crisis levels in 2016. Controlling and reducing public debt is certainly one of the biggest challenges of our administration and a huge responsibility towards future generations. To achieve this, we need to keep the current high and sustainable economic growth. And we have to bear in mind that this remarkable performance is achieved under an enormous fiscal deficit with the Spanish central administration, which stands above 7% of the Catalan GDP. We are also working on one of the main inefficiencies of the Spanish tax system, its fiscal benefits. In Spain, all main taxes include important tax exceptions that for the most part do not foster equity. On the contrary, they erode tax collection and greatly hinder tax administration. This is one of the reasons why we are developing the Catalan Tax Collection Agency to a levels of competence as never before, with the goal of being able to collect all taxes in Catalonia within months. But we don't have only positive news and figures to be proud of. We are also worried. In spite of our performance, we are worried about the Spanish Reserve Pension Fund. That reserve fund has been used by the Spanish government to pay current expenses. And if this continues like that, we will probably see the resource depletion of the fund. We are also worried, and probably our greatest concern, in the level of the Spanish debt, which amounts to 100% of the GDP. And it is not a trivial matter, because the Spanish deficit is still growing over the growth of the Spanish GDP. On the other hand, our economy, the Catalan economy, is growing faster than our deficit, closing last year deficit at minus 1% of our GDP, a figure that speaks of our debt commitment to the budgetary stability. Y si me permiten unas reflexiones finales, el Estado español y en particular su gobierno y los partidos que lo sustentan o que han permitido su investidura se enfrentan a muy diversos retos que podríamos agrupar en el ámbito de la ineficiencia económica, de la injusticia social y de la insuficiencia democrática. Ineficiencia económica porque sigue tomando sus decisiones económicas en función de criterios políticos, invirtiendo en trenes de alta velocidad sin pasajeros y sin retorno económico, o protegiendo inversiones como el proyecto Castor o rescatando proyectos de inversión privada que estaban condenados de antemano al fracaso. Una ineficiencia económica que se arrastra desde hace muchísimo tiempo. De hecho, el Estado español es el Estado que ha protagonizado más quiebras en toda la historia de la humanidad. Estas ineficiencias económicas conllevan también altos niveles de injusticia social, de protección de los intereses de unos pocos en contra de las necesidades de la mayoría. Lo vemos cada día cuando el Gobierno español se reserva para sí mismo la mayor parte de la recaudación fiscal y también cuando se reserva para sí mismo la mayor parte del techo de déficit que Europa le concede, condenando a enormes dificultades a aquellas administraciones públicas que hacen un mayor esfuerzo, no solo de control, sino sobre todo de servicios públicos fundamentales como la educación o la salud, que son responsabilidad de administraciones subestatales en el caso del Estado español. Todo ello es posible, esta ineficiencia económica reiterada y esta injusticia social, por un sistema democrático con claras insuficiencias. Nuestro objetivo es, al fin y al cabo, muy simple: más democracia. La posibilidad de que los ciudadanos puedan decidir con su voto su futuro. La posibilidad de que los ciudadanos se hagan plenamente responsables de todas sus decisiones. Somos tan responsables que nos gustaría asumir toda la responsabilidad. somos tan responsables que nos gustaría asumir el mismo nivel de responsabilidad que cualquier otro Estado. Convencidos como estamos que precisamente la democracia y la posibilidad de que los ciudadanos decidan sobre su futuro a través de sus votos es la mejor garantía de políticas económicas eficientes y de mayor justicia social. Nosotros confiamos en Europa y nos explicamos en Europa porque estamos convencidos que Europa, o gran parte de ella, comparte nuestros objetivos. Necesitamos una Europa más democrática, más fuerte, más unida, con unas instituciones comunes más relevantes, porque necesitamos ser más eficientes desde un punto de vista económico y necesitamos instrumentos para garantizar una política más justa. Por lo tanto, y en definitiva, aquello que nosotros queremos es votar. Votar y decidir con nuestros votos cuál es nuestro futuro y contribuir con nuestra responsabilidad a construir una Europa y una comunidad internacional mucho mejores. Muchas gracias.